It's funny. You'd think the next big historical discovery would be found in some dusty old library, right? Well, what if I told you it was actually hiding in plain sight in a YouTube comment section? That is exactly what we're diving into today. We're going to trace an ancient spiritual practice from a simple online debate all the way back to the very dawn of Indian philosophy.
It all starts right here. I mean, look at this. It seems like just another comment thread, right? But if you look a little closer, you'll see this incredible debate unfolding about where a certain spiritual practice actually came from. This little digital chat is going to be our roadmap for uncovering a history that's literally thousands of years old.
Okay, so the first comment we're looking at brings us into the pretty recent past. It's a claim about a spiritual teacher that a lot of people have heard of. So the first person chimes in and says this really powerful technique came from the teacher Osho maybe about 40 years ago. And for a lot of people, that's the whole story, a modern teacher sharing his wisdom. But as you're about to see, that is just the very, very tip of the iceberg. And of course, that's when it starts to get really good. Someone replies to that comment with a simple but crucial question. Was Osho really the one who came up with it, or was he just the latest person in a much, much longer chain? And this is where the story takes a massive turn. The very next reply in the thread throws us into a time machine and takes us way, way back, completely changing the whole conversation. Get this. The next commenter makes this huge claim. Thousands of years before Osho was even born, the Hindu deity Mahadev taught this exact same practice, and it had a name, Kumbhak, which is a kind of breath retention. I mean, just like that, our timeline didn't just get longer, it expanded by thousands of years. So just look at this timeline. It shows the incredible journey of this single idea. It starts way back in ancient times with Mahadev. Then that wisdom gets written down in these foundational texts. So much later, it gets repopularized by Osho. And now, here we are, piecing it all together in an online forum. It's just a wild example of how knowledge can travel through time. But this same commenter, they don't stop there. They draw this really fascinating line between this ancient practice and some ideas that are, super popular in Western culture right now. Okay, this is where it gets really, really interesting. The commenter connects this modern, trendy idea of manifestation, you've probably seen it all over social media, to the Upanishads, which are these ancient Hindu scriptures from over 1,000 years ago. And when you look at them, the core ideas are, well, they're shockingly similar. It kind of makes you think that what we see as new ideas are often just ancient wisdom repackaged for a new generation. And then a third voice jumps into the conversation, and they push the origins back even further to the people who were actually doing this practice in the first place. Right. So this comment adds another super important layer to the story. They argue that long, long before Osho, it was the ancient Indian sages, the Rishi Munis, who were the true masters of this technique. For them, this wasn't just some casual practice, it was a core part of their entire spiritual life. So let's put it all together and give this thing a clear definition. The practice that has traveled all these millennia is called Kumbhak. At its heart, it's an ancient breath retention technique, and it's used for spiritual growth. And as we've pieced together from this one online conversation, its history goes back thousands of years before any of its modern forms. So what does all this add up to? Well, it's a truly timeless connection. It's like this single thread of knowledge that's been passed down through generations, across cultures, and even through different technologies, from ancient texts to the internet. Let's just quickly recap this incredible journey. The knowledge of Kumbhak starts with ancient deities and sages. It then gets written down and preserved in sacred texts. Thousands of years later, modern teachers bring it back into the spotlight. And today, you can find its core principles popping up in trending global ideas. It's just an amazing example of how an idea can survive, adapt, and just keep going. And this is really the key takeaway from our little trip through a comment section. The most profound ancient wisdom, it doesn't just vanish. It simply gets rediscovered, maybe repackaged, and given a new name for a new time. It's been there all along, just waiting for us to find it again. It really leaves you with a fascinating question, doesn't it? I mean, if the secret history of a practice like Kumbhak can be pieced together from just a few online comments, what other ancient knowledge is out there just waiting to be uncovered in the next conversation you happen to stumble upon? Makes you think.